And when it's purely mechanical, these folks hold all of that knowledge. Suddenly this is like too much of a mystery because it doesn't give you a code. It doesn't tell you where the problem is. Your brain is the diagnostic tool. It's very unique, and both sides are needed, and each groups of knowledge complement one another, I think.
Yeah.
So what is it like working on the 56? Just talking to you two. Was it a new experience working on such an old car?
Yeah, really, really cool.
It's not super new to me because we got the farm truck ready. The farm truck was a little more cut and dry, like everything's in the middle kind of a deal, and this is a little bit more spread out and doesn't seem to flow as much as I felt like the farm truck did. But that's the only other
Well, that was
old car.
70s technology. This is 20 years earlier. 76?
76 Ford F100.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, there are certain things in old cars that I recognize and remember from that old truck, but for the most part, I really don't know what I'm looking at. And I think that it could be better. I kind of just want to go in and replace everything.
She wants new.
I don't want new. I don't like new. I hate the new cars, but there's this happy medium where you've got quality, almost top of the line technology. I want this happy medium of what I'm familiar with.
She wants familiarity.
Yeah.
And she wants function.
Yeah.
And we don't have either one of those right now. So you guys have got to help me bring these two up to speed.
We're having fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Totally having fun.
Real quick, Chrissy, your thoughts working on the engine compartment of
Yeah.
a vintage car since you're mostly a detailer.
Right. Every time I look in a vehicle, I'm thinking about how could I clean this the best? How could I make this look really good? Well, the thing that stood out the most to me, it's full of rust. So there's not a whole lot I'd be able to clean necessarily.
Bring on the POR-15!
And that might be
Finished.
some of like my replace it mentality. Is like I'm seeing exhaust pipes go over fuel lines and battery not where it probably should be.
We have
and,
one
like,
commenter tell us to get that fixed.
On a very basic level, it's really cool for me to see the motor compartment of an old vehicle versus a newer one, which is all I ever work on and clean. You're not going to get advice from me because I don't know what any of this stuff is.
The
No.
motor.
I mean, little pieces are breakdown of like what different things are.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are. You had to tell me. I don't know, just in general, I really like this car. I love the way it looks. I love the color, the paint color. Before we started filming, we were just kind of standing over the motor and talking about the assembly of it, like how they would have done it.
Valve cover.
No,
fuel
not
pump.
that.
Oh.
Talking about the assembly line.
Oh, okay.
Like
Oh,
it
yes.
wasn't machine made. It was put together by.
Henry
you know.
Ford believed that's how he catapulted forward, was the assembly line.
Yeah.
He'd come up with that way back in the 20s, I believe.
Wow.
1920s. This would be 30 years later. So it most certainly would have been assembled on an assembly line.
Yeah, definitely. And there's something so cool about that to me. You know, that you don't get every day with your everyday vehicle.
Well,
you
like
know?
this pickup here is a 14 F-150, and the one
Yeah.
behind it's a 19 Ram, and those were on assembly lines too, but they were all done by robots.
Right. Yeah, there's something just super cool to me that real people and not machines took the time to put this together. I just think that's really, really cool.
And for the record, real people were running the machines.
Running the machines. I'm talking about hands
'Cause
putting this stuff
you
together.
might be one of the people out there running those machines going, hey, I'm a people too.
Obviously. But also just the history.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know how long ago it was. And this is a literal piece of history right here. And it's so cool.
Yeah,
so
it
very
is.
cool.
It's mostly untouched. I mean, obviously we've got the wreck that we have yet to tell y'all about, but under here the A-frame is compromised, so we'll have to address that. And the
Lovely.
nice to know, huh? Maybe she doesn't want to drive it on her wedding.
No, this car has got to be ready to drive for my wedding. Who knows when? But I want it to be drivable in the next few years.
We gotta get it going
Yeah,
before the next few
yeah,
years.
yeah.
Okay. All right. It just needs to be looked at carefully because the welds may, you know.
Mhm.
I remember Dad saying way back in the 80s, I'm a little nervous driving this, given that the car had obviously been in an accident because there had to be some work, and that's where the A-frame mounts. Well, if that were to break apart, that's that front right tire. If you're going at high speeds and that folds, that's a wreck for sure, of some sort. So there's that. There's, you know, we've got the exhaust alterations that have happened.
Yeah.
There have been changes, but they're not dramatic changes like Laura wants. Which is not a bad thing. My original idea was to do a resto mod, and really, honestly,
And maybe that's part of my, like, I had gotten into this idea of swapping the motor. But because normally I'm like, keep it original, and that's what I like. I do not like it when cars come in and they're like aftermarketed to the end with
Yeah.
stereos and lights, and like it drives me
and
nuts.
really for the lot, I try not to buy that
Mhm.
because it divides the market.
So generally, I'm more of a keep it original kind of person, but sometimes I see a train wreck and I'm just like, let's just start over.
If I had resto modded this car, the only thing that would really be used is the body.
Yeah,
Y'all worked with Dad on cars in the past. Dad, we've grown up around.
I've watched
Yeah.
Dad work on cars.
Yeah.
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 I've worked on
When
them.
we were little, and ridden in cars that he was able to help restore. Y'all are younger women.
Yeah.
Working on a very specific vehicle, very specific year. It's an industry that's highly unique for young girls to be in. So.
Yeah.
What's interesting about doing this with Dad is I used to come into the shop and help you work on cars. I remember one time I was sitting in the seat of a Mustang and you weren't under the hood. And for some reason I was in there, maybe to turn the key or something. And I got bored and I was looking at the steering wheel and something was loose on it. And I was trying to figure out why, and I pressed it. He was so mad.
Well, I was startled. Probably hit my head on the hood after that horn went off.
And I remember thinking, I don't know anything about how this works.
That's so funny.
It's like a comic.
Yeah. I love these wheels. You know, I remember we got a picture of Julie sitting in the back seat of the 53 Studebaker that we were resto modding with a Crown Vic.
Yeah.
No, a Grand Marquis. Yeah. And that was the back seat of that car. We fit right in there. Pretty cool.
Your
Are
phone
you,
is
are you
ringing.
going to get it to
Yeah.
stop?
I'm not going to answer it.
Can you use what he just said with the...
Yeah, I think it's fine. I
Just
think
like-
people appreciate that it's a car sound. In fact, that was the Willis.
That was a 41 Willis. Yeah. And that was all custom. Custom frame. It was a kit car. It was all fiberglass.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a true 41 Willis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it had an LT motor. It wasn't my car. And we had just fired it up. Open headers. And that's the recording. So
And I hope to turn it to a ringtone.
awesome. Thank you very much.
And that was done here in Tippah County
That was also done here in Tippah.
over 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
what makes this different is that this is the first time I've come into a project with you on a vehicle where I had any kind of basic working knowledge of combustion engine, vehicular motor, anything. Before they were kind of like this mysterious thing that doesn't make sense. It's just somewhere out there. It makes sense to some people, but doesn't make sense to you. I don't think it's just a women thing. I think as people, sometimes when something doesn't make sense, it's easy to just kind of put it out here, even if it's something you literally get in every day. I think most people don't realize that when they get into their vehicle and turn the key, like 5 explosions go off at their knees. You have to put a lot of trust into vehicles once you start to understand how they work.
We haven't really gone internal engine on anything, neither have I.
No.
But
I've taken those compression readings, but I
That's
haven't
true.
gone inside.
true. And we'll probably do that on this car if we get that far. We needed it to spin over today. But that was our next step for the next video, was to do a compression test on each cylinder and find out if we're building
Hey, I can
compression
help
in
with
each
that.
cylinder. Absolutely, you can. And see, here's the thing: you're willing to learn this stuff. You're not afraid to learn it. You got enough interest into it to go after it, and not everybody does, and that's okay.
That's actually probably if it wasn't family business, I would not have enough interest in it. I think I have enough reason,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it's all you need.
Many of the folks that are commenting who are familiar with these cars and this technology are
High-key
scared
interest.
of the computerized stuff that really started encroaching in the 80s predominantly. began to be a vehicle you couldn't shade tree mechanic, right?
Yeah.
Because you had to keep buying more tools, and it was new technology. What you've grown up with is that's not new technology. It is learnable. The right tools are actually making a lot of it easier until you get to the mechanical side. And when it's purely mechanical, these folks hold all of that knowledge. Suddenly this is like too much of a mystery because it doesn't give you a code. It doesn't tell you where the problem is. Your brain is the diagnostic tool,
Yeah.
right? So it's very unique, and both sides are needed. And each groups of knowledge complement one another. I think.
Yeah.
Worst thing that scares me is a story my grandfather gave of a fellow leaning over a vehicle like this, and for some reason the battery exploded and up into his eyes, acid and stuff. And so I'm thinking, where that voltage regulator is located, you got to lean over the battery. And if you watch me closely, girls, you'll notice anytime I come up to a battery, I blow on it first.
Oh yeah.
I don't want any fumes and a spark igniting anything. So
Yeah.
it made enough impression upon me that I'm worried about that. So,
Yeah.
so if I could have a long distance probe to set in
Yeah.
from the other side of the car.
I like to say I tasted a 12-volt battery pretty extensively because I remember like a taste
sulfuric.
sensation in my mouth when I was holding a tester. I didn't think it could shock me because it was plastic. I thought it's insulated, but it hurt.
It hurts bad.
It's great when I'm not honking the horn.
Oh. Hey, let's see if that works.
Oh,
Y'all probably want to step aside.
yeah,
Ready?
yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Nope.
What kind of issue you got?
Hey, that's good news for you though because
It sure is.